Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of SEO Live Support. I think SEO Live Support. Yeah, your favorite SEO Q&A live stream where you can ask us anything and then we answer you. Yeah, that's how it works. What's up, Nick?
Just living it up over here,
Hey, man. Thanks for sharing.
Doing good. Pete, my man, always number one to the show, ready to say what is up.
What's going on, Mr. Pete?
Doesn't miss a week, dude. I mean, this guy is a machine, pure SEO learning machine. Love it.
Awesome.
Welcome to the
yeah,
show again.
you guys know how it works. Got any questions at all? Drop in the chat. We'll get to you as soon as we can. We're going to go ahead and start this one off with some audits, or at least one audit. So let me get that set up, because I should have probably get the audit stuff set up before we start the dang streams. I just sent you the website, Nick. Let's get into Ahrefs, so I'll get you guys a picture.
Well, I don't know what we're auditing exactly. This is like a fresh website.
Guess we'll take a look then. I don't know why I didn't even screen it or anything.
Sample page is the only menu option.
And did not give us any information, so that is very cool.
So I think we can skip this one, quite honestly.
We'll audit it real quick.
Pull up the site. Just pull up the site real quick.
I know, I saw it. All right. So here we go. You can see this snapshot here in Ahrefs. Someone wants us to audit this site. They have got 2 referring domains, a DR of 1.3, a traffic of 2, and 26 keywords. Looks like they kind of popped up for some traffic and then popped back down. Yeah, keywords, yeah, they're going. You know, and like Nick was saying, Nick doesn't want to audit this one. And honestly, you know, we shouldn't be auditing it, but we are going to audit because someone asked us to audit. But
it does have
whoever site this is, you don't need to audit things at this point. You just need to keep adding content to your website. You need to keep building backlinks. That's what SEO is. It's content and backlinks, and you pretty much have neither of each quite yet. But your site's already starting to kind of pop up for some traffic and keywords, which is cool. Looks like yeah, I mean, it's been a little while. Looks like you started popping up for traffic and keywords initially in like November. So yeah, the site's been around for a while. It's been like 6 months since then, and you're probably wondering, well, why is it not really moving much? You know, it's been sitting here a while. And the truth of the matter is, looking at your website, it looks like you've got basically a normal theme. You've still got a Hello World post on there, which is the post
I think this is
that's got 110. It's got 110 indexed pages.
Oh, weird. I'm pulling up 67, but
well, a lot of them look like archives.
Redone, or this is an expired domain maybe that had some rankings previously, and they because like some of the stuff I'm looking through looks like it used to exist. Now it goes to 404.
Yeah.
As far as the index pages go, but yeah, we're looking at a fresh site. Fresh
yeah, everything's saying 404, so I guess these
yeah. So get to building.
Well, maybe we can just audit it as an expired domain then, just see what we think about the domain, because honestly there's nothing on the website, right? Everything's 404 like you said, even though it's got a bunch of index pages.
Yeah, so
it's
a good place to start is
I was just going to say
those 404 pages.
Yeah, rebuild 404s. It's cool that it's already kind of popped up for some keywords and traffic. Actually, I don't see any history in Ahrefs at all. There's no history.
No, yeah,
so I don't really know what we're auditing here.
I wouldn't give any of that too much weight right now. I don't think.
Maybe they gave up and deleted their website after we took so long to audit it.
Could be that too. I was wondering.
But yeah, there's just not much to audit here, man. If you are still working on this project, I don't even know how you're popping up for keywords and traffic, because it looks like you might have deleted all the pages you had on the website, or you're just not linking to them at all anymore, or like in any way, like it's not possible to get to them on your website, unless, let's see here.
Well, it looks like Pakistani traffic in English.
Yeah, everything's forward.
Yeah, I mean, if you are still working on the site, go in there. Ahrefs, organic keywords, what you used to before, go ahead and rebuild those pages.
Did I lose you, Nick? We did lose Nick. Hopefully we did not lose the internet connection. No, we did not lose internet connection. I'm going to restart the call with Nick, and hopefully we can get him back on here. Sorry about the technical delay, guys. Just give us 1 second.
Microphone check.
Yeah, okay, there's Nick again. Cool. All right, so yeah, there's not much to audit. There's not anything to audit here. We're not going to audit anything more.
Well,
you need to keep building, content, and
where did I break up?
On yet. Huh?
Do you know where I broke up?
No.
Okay, well, if you are still listening, you're still working on this site, Ahrefs, organic keywords, the stuff that you were ranking for, which looks like Pakistani traffic in English. Good place to start right there. Rebuild those permalinks and pages, or 301 them to relevant stuff, and move from there. But basically looking at a fresh or an expired domain that had some movement. Probably just go after the ones that are worthwhile, that have a little bit of traffic value. That's about as good as I think we can do.
Cool. Let's end it there and not waste any more time on that one. And yeah, if you have a site like that, guys, you don't need an audit. You need to keep you need to keep adding content. Unless you have a ton of content on your website and more backlinks and it's still not doing anything, and it's been a while, then there's something we can audit there. But if you're just getting started, you don't have many pages on your site, you don't have many backlinks like that, you're still at the very beginning. Just keep going. Don't even look at Ahrefs. You're just going to waste your time every day. I know you're still going to look at Ahrefs anyway and check your traffic every day, but not worth it. All right, let's see what we got next. Looks like no real questions rolling in too much yet. So let's go ahead and jump into another audit. I think this one might be in the MLB program because it looks like a familiar URL. So maybe they just want to see what's going on as far as, yeah, maybe they just wanted a bit of a further audit. But we've got some information on this one, so let's see what they say. Okay. Sorry, let me get a picture for you guys as well. Is this the right thing? Looks like another pretty fresh one.
Yep. Only just started launching off.
Looks real similar to the last graph, actually. All right, so we got that up, and let's see what he says. He says, this site is relatively new and we try to get the on-page SEO stuff right, but our team is quite inexperienced with SEO. So would it be great to have someone who's good take a look at it? Since we are using MLB already, I guess off-page SEO is less of a concern. Excuse me. We just want to know what we can do more in terms of on-page SEO, i.e. internal linking, how meta tags, so that we can get the best results from your off-page, and backlink building. Yeah, so let's go ahead and look at the off-page real quick, and we can just quickly move on. So like he said, it's got 11 referring domains. He's just starting to pop up for some traffic and some keywords. Just like the last site we looked at, really we're just at the very beginning of the ranking process for this website. And there's 11 referring domains there. Even if we wanted to audit the off-page, I would say it's not even worth your time auditing it at this point because there's just not much to audit with 11 referring domains, right? Not much you can do wrong. And if you did everything wrong, you can still correct it very easily just by being natural. And we're doing off page for this one, so I know we'll be building from this point, we'll just be building a bunch of homepage links with natural anchors, you know, some niche edits, some guest posts, maybe some additional foundational link building like pillow links, diversity links, that type of stuff, some social signals. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So let's go ahead and I guess look at the site itself. Nick.
Yep.
How big is it? Looks like it's got about 136 indexed pages. What niche are they in?
It's like
kind of like Bitcoin
hardware.
things, kind of crypto type thing, crypto drilling, mining. Okay, cool.
Yeah, for the most part, it looks like it's like a kind of
homepage
like
has an one H1 and one H2, and that's the only H tags on the entire homepage. Probably gonna want to add more content to your homepage for sure. Sorry, what were you saying? Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, just that it's basically just like an informational site on different companies involved in this stuff, gives overviews, etc.
Well, it looks like
But I'm not even seeing like.
Oh, I guess that's not their own services, huh?
And then whenever you look at it, I'm not seeing a single like affiliate link or anything. It's just
it's like a
purely
resource
information.
site, huh?
Yeah, resource site. There you go.
Well, maybe they plan to monetize later, try to
Could
set
be.
up all these things with affiliates and stuff. Yeah, right now you're right. It looks like just
I do like the way it's set up. As far
actually,
as
no,
what
those
it
are.
is.
Oh no, you're right. It's like a directory type thing.
Yeah, I don't see a single kind of like monetizable link or anything like that. No. There's a lot of inner pages. I don't see any interlinking. But then again, like, at the same time, it'd be weird to put an interlink to another company because it looks like all these pages are individual company profiles.
Yeah.
And so interlinking to other links, might not be the best, but or like
should make sure you're at least linking back up to the category, back up to
right. Back up to the category at least. And then you could even maybe use like a related posts plugin or something like that for the bottom that shows other company profiles at the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea.
Just to move something around. But overall,
do they have a blog or anything?
No, well, not that I see.
Let's look at one of these. Let's look at one of the. What I also don't like, for example, I'll just say that like for your manufacturers page, your H1 at the top is just manufacturers. Like it's very not descriptive. And so your inner page URL is just like your domain name / manufacturers.
Yeah.
And these are not just normal manufacturers. This is a very specific type of manufacturer. So I would say, you're not really optimized at all for ranking this page for anything, because you don't want to rank it for the word manufacturers, obviously not, because like I said, it's much more specific than that. So you'd want to look into actually optimizing these pages. And yeah, so it's basically just an H1 tag up at the top. Let me make sure it's even an H1 tag. Yeah, so again, this page only has one H1 and one. This one has a little bit more. This is weird because it's got like 3 of the. Okay, no, they're marked as H4s. Each manufacturer is marked as an H4. So you're probably gonna want to get those manufacturers marked as H2s and just leave the H1 as up at the top, and then yeah, more descriptive heading up there. So, and more descriptive URL slug as well could probably be a good idea. If you start changing URL slugs, you're definitely going to want to let us know in MLB, so we don't build links to your old URLs, and make sure you're 301ing the old stuff to the new ones. But yeah, I mean, Google's not going to know what to do with this page, right? There's not enough here, and you're probably going to want to add some content maybe at the bottom with more information about this list, just to give Google more stuff to work with, right? leave the list up
Right.
at the top because I think it's very like user friendly. It's nice and clean looking. I like the design of everything. It's real easy. But yeah, just think about someone who doesn't know what this website is and they land on this manufacturer's page. They're gonna have no idea. Like manufacturers for what? Like what are these things? Just a list of companies, and then at the bottom
Although,
says what to
although
be on the list.
I had to look it up, but their URL is actually the service. I just wasn't familiar with the term. I thought it was branded, but like the actual service. So they've got that going for them
Wait,
at least.
say it again.
The URL,
For what?
their URL, like the actual TLD,
Okay,
so
yeah,
blank dot whatever is
gotcha.
actually like that's a term for this business, yeah,
Okay.
or for that
I
service
still think they
rather.
should like improve like the H1s and stuff. So maybe
Oh yeah,
they don't change the
definitely.
URL slug because that could be repetitive then, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it could be. But there's probably ways to inject a little bit more,
Yeah,
relevance at least by doing what you said. So I think that'd be worthwhile.
for sure.
Um,
And then yeah, more content
and
at
then
the bottom of the page, and change the H1 for sure. You can maybe you don't change the URL slug, but you can change the H1.
go
Um,
ahead and get some linking going in the footer as well. Like I'm not seeing a privacy policy. I'm not seeing terms of service or
mm,
any, the
true.
stuff that,
Not much for
you need
eat
to
going
see
on
on
here
a
at all,
website.
actually. Zero eat.
Yeah.
So look up our podcast with Kyle Roof, EEAT. It's an acronym.
Hmm.
Important stuff these days. Basically want to show Google that your website is legitimate and you're like a real company and with real people behind it, and you're doing all the real things that companies do to show people that they're trustworthy and legitimate. Yeah. Um, yeah, like no, you should get a footer, get some interlinking going on in the footer. You're probably gonna want to start like a blog reel as well, get some blog content going because I'm sure there's a bunch of
Yeah,
blog stuff you can blog
definitely.
about this, and then you can use the blog to interlink, do a bunch of interlinking to all these other pages you've got built. But yeah, as far as it stands right now, I feel like this website is going to have a pretty tough time ranking for anything. Even with us building links to it, um, I mean, you might start ranking kind of tangentially for like some of these like companies that you've built all these pages for, right? If they don't have, I mean, it depends how big they are. They probably have a bunch of their pages on their own. They're going to rank on page one, their social profiles, articles about them, different pages on their website, their YouTube channel, their socials, all that stuff will probably rank above you. Um, I just feel like, yeah, it's going to be a hard time getting any traffic and stuff to the site unless you start optimizing it a bit better and get a blog rolling and yeah, do some interlinking, some eat. Um, uh, Actually, quite a lot to be desired on the website. But I will say the good thing about the website is I really like how it looks. It's like it looks very professional and nice and clean.
Yeah.
Um, I really,
That's a good starting
yeah,
point. It's
it's
just
a
missing a little like content,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good like slate to build on, right? But as far as
Hmm.
SEO goes, um, yeah, quite a bit lacking here. Do you have anything left to say on this one, Nick?
No, no. I mean, that's about it. Just add some content, optimize a few things, but good to go.
Cool. All right. Like always, guys, if you're in the chat and you got any questions, go ahead and just drop your questions. We'll get to you as soon as possible. What's up, B Vijay? Hola, how are you doing today? And yeah, it looks like it might be a bit of a slow stream today, guys. So yeah, if you have any questions at all, don't worry. If you think it's a beginner question or if it's stupid or whatever, trust me, we've heard every stupid question already. We do not mind. Go ahead and ask. Otherwise, we're going to keep going here, doing some audits that we've got,
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the show.
like always. All right. This other
Actually,
one.
we're finally monetized, everybody. So get in there, start clicking, help us out a little bit. But YouTube is finally monetized. Pretty big mile marker for us. A little over a year of doing the
Have we been
show.
trying to get it monetized, or is that something you just like?
Well, yes and no. I mean, like, there's like certain markers that you've got to hit before you can. So, we've probably been able to for a little over a month.
Gotcha. And yeah, looks like we are getting going with another audit here. And it looks like another somewhat fresh site. They've been going a little bit longer, but it's still kind of at the beginning of their journey here.
New interesting niches here.
Let's see what this one says. This one looks familiar too. I think they might have just started an MLB too, but I'm not 100% on that. MLB, of course, is our managed link building service done for you.
I bet I know who owns this one.
Okay, so let's see. It says I'm building the other domain I got from last member of the month prize. Okay, so someone from our group that won member of the month, and they used the prize money to buy one of our domains. Okay, so I'm building the other domain I got from last member of the month prize. So when I do a redirect in a few weeks, months, creating topical relevancy both, I hope it will benefit from the age domains link. Since I started on a new domain, the branding was really important for me. Man, my brain just turned off for that entire thing.
I can't read the question because I can't. For whatever reason, it's not sharing since you recalled me. It's not sharing the screen.
My bad. Here, let me just do that real quick.
Oh, it's you?
Yeah, I probably just didn't do it. There you go. Okay,
Nice.
So I'm gonna read it one more time. I'm building the other domain I got from last member of the month prize, so when I do a redirect in a few weeks, I hope it will benefit from the age domains links. Okay, so this is a domain he's working on. He won the prize and he bought a domain from us, and he's going to redirect it sometime soon. So he's hoping that will help it when he eventually does it. So yeah, I guess he wanted to keep this one because he says the branding was really important for him. I just looked at Google Search Console today and performance halved. I mean, hosting, and maybe this is a fallout from. I changed hosting, and maybe it's a fallout from that, since I went from managed to self-managed and maybe screwed something up. Let's go ahead and remove some of this. So if you could help me diagnose if there's a problem, that would be great. Yeah, it's going to be hard. We're not going to be able to diagnose if there's a hosting problem for you, but it can happen where you switch hosts and stuff can get a little weird. It does look like Ahrefs is showing your traffic as falling. We'll look into things a bit and see what's going on. And yeah, hopefully nothing too crazy with your host. So yeah, just looking at the Ahrefs graph real quick, things do look like they're falling. Keywords look like they're falling a bit. The good news is you were never really up very high. DR is still very low. UR is low. 93 referring domains. We'll check those out in a bit. 21 traffic. Not much keywords quite yet. 166. How big was the site?
40,
47.
50.
Yeah, about 50 indexed URLs or so. So not too big of a site yet. What were you going to say?
Just typically, like when we dive in here and automatically see that there's 92 referring domains, your UR and DR, DR is 0.2. That's incredibly low. So,
yeah, it's kind of a little bit
we're
of a
looking
mismatch.
at referring domains that are probably not very high end. That's automatically like kind of a telltale sign that, all right, the link profile is lacking somewhere.
Yeah, this does not look natural. I don't know what this stuff is.
Yeah, jumping directly into anchors. Your number one anchor is an exact match with 43 referring domains, and it is not, the URL is branded, has nothing to do with that.
What are you doing here, man? You're in our group. We preach this stuff every day. What's going on, man?
This is not natural. A lot of exact match or long tail keywords, no branded, no naked URL, really. Not the kind of stuff that you want to see.
Looks like you got some kind of cheap wiki blast on Fiverr or something. Different wiki sites and.
good news about this is it's probably pretty easy to remedy just by homepage, natural anchors with quality links, niche edits, guest posts. This can be maybe like sort of pillowing. You probably could still stand to do some pillowing. But again, just to the homepage, naked branded, that kind of stuff. Because the site itself actually, like as I'm going through it, looks all right. And you're still ranking for, according to Ahrefs, 233 keywords, so that's a good amount of movement for such low DR and such a spammy looking link profile. You don't,
And he's not
yeah, there is
an
a blog
MLB, by the
actually.
way. I don't know why I
Okay.
recognize the site, but not.
And then if I'm remembering correctly, the domain that you bought with that prize money, I think was a .co.uk, and I
Oh, I know
thought
who
you were
this
located
is.
in a different place. And I remember when you said that you were going to use that, and I think I know which domain it is. Go ahead and inbox me if you want, so that I can make sure that I know what I'm talking about. But I think what you were going to use was a .co.uk domain in a completely different niche as a 301. And now that I'm seeing this site, I'm like, it's probably not something that I would use to try and promote this, but maybe I don't remember what's on the backlink profile of that, but I thought it was a completely different niche altogether.
Yeah, you wanna get your 301s as relevant as possible, right? That's going to increase the chances that they actually work. Um, the closer in relevance, the better. Um, you know, I guess it depends how broad you go with this. You could get like pretty kind of just like go super broad with like culture, um, or there's some
Yeah,
other
but that
types of maybe like
the one
music
the one I
or
think he got was food related,
hmm,
like food and drink, if I remember correctly.
gotcha. Yeah, maybe not too good of a fit if it's the same thing. Um, but yeah, as far as the off page goes, it doesn't, I filtered out through your links and not really anything in there that we would consider a quality link type yet. They are relevant, which is good, but it kind of just looks like some kind of Fiverr kind of like spam pack you got, which is not bad. In Nick's case study at the beginning of the link building for the affiliate site he was working on, you can see him do stuff where he kind of
Yeah,
works
I like
this type
spam.
of stuff in. I mean, you don't think so?
But
One
no,
word?
yeah, I like spam, I mean, but
Yeah,
homepage and generic anchors, you're not using spam or pillow links for exact match stuff, which is,
true,
what
which is
happened
what it
here.
looks like he's done here. Yeah,
But again, I think Google's gotten pretty good at ignoring this kind of stuff.
yeah.
Just go with quality to the homepage till you see that graph shoot back in the direction. It seems like you're probably in a pretty low competition niche. Um, and if that's the case, then it might be pretty easy to remedy what's going on here. But you're not going to know until you prod.
Let's go take a look at one of his blog posts.
Yeah,
See what's going on.
I see that it's like ranking primarily in the U.S., and I thought he was located in Brazil.
Well, I think it's for I think it targets everyone. Like,
Okay,
because
it's
I talked to him
courses.
about this project a little bit.
Okay.
Um, as far as there's a bunch of weird stuff going on here. I've never seen this before with your H tags. Do you have SEO Minion, Nick?
Yeah.
Look at his H tags in SEO Minion. I've never seen this. A bunch of like HTML in the H tags. But anyway, yeah, you're probably gonna want to clean up your H tags. You got a bunch of like
What
weird.
page are you on? Are you like looking through the blog?
I'm just on one of the blog pages. I guess I can go check and see if another one has the same stuff going on. I just checked on like the first blog post I saw down there. Looks like this other one I'm looking at doesn't have the same thing going on, but it's also got like some blank H1s, which is also weird. It's got an
Yeah, I
H4 at
see
the
that.
top with his brand in
Oh, we're
it.
on the same page. Yeah, I see that too.
Um, yeah, so you might want to kind of clean up your H tags a little bit. Not sure. Might also want to chill with the bolding a little bit. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of bolding. Makes it hard to read.
yeah, overall, this is not as important for SEO, but the layout of your site, it's all like centered and stuff. Go and you're gonna want to like left align it. Just make it look like a normal blog or whatever. Let me see if there's other pages like that too. I guess that's the one blog post. All the text is centered. I guess the other one isn't. Uh, some of these look better than others.
Nice
Um,
and random.
but on some of them, it ends up just looking like kind of like walls of text. It's not, as far as like the user experience goes. Some people might not like this too much. Are you seeing any interlinking going on?
No. Well, where does this go? Well, I guess some, but this is an interlink that is a whole paragraph, actually. Literally like probably 40 plus words.
Okay, now he's got some interlinking.
Two
But yeah,
two
these are,
interlinks on this page, and they're both literally paragraphs. And one is a probably an H tag. Let's see.
yeah, so it looks like on
Yeah,
this
it's a
one article
title.
I'm looking
It's an
at,
H3.
this one article I'm looking at, it's like, what is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And
yours are
then it's like
cleaner
you're
than the
trying to
ones
like
I'm looking
sell,
at.
like you're like hard selling, like really fast in the article, really trying to like link to a bunch of your, courses and your services and blah, blah, blah. Um, it seems like a bit like heavy-handed. Google might see this as, basically not helpful content, right? So like a user comes to this page trying to learn about something and they're just being bombarded instantly with a bunch of links to stuff you're trying to sell them rather than doing it in a more natural way, spread out through the article. Uh, yeah, just not hitting them with like, 10 links right here in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like all the links. I feel like there is internal linking, but I feel like the internal linking is done like pretty bad. Uh,
Yeah, it's
like you need
comes
to
off as spammy.
figure out, yeah, it's very spammy. Like you need to figure out a way to link contextually within the paragraphs of information in a natural way, rather than saying like, hey, go buy this, or like, hey, check this
Yeah.
service out now. Um,
Or
there,
like a bunch of questions. Like I'm seeing a bunch of questions here.
yeah, and you don't need
Like two
like,
sentences,
yeah.
both of them questions, and that's the inner link that goes. Like, try and be more concise. You're speaking to a robot, right? Um,
Use
so instead of
keywords.
trying to
Use
get so
keywords.
long tail, just use keywords. Yeah.
Yeah, like this one I'm looking at is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's like almost like 20 words, like a 20-word anchor.
Yeah.
It's like a full sentence with a comma in it.
Yeah,
Um,
and the majority of them are like that, right? So like, there's a lot of confusion there. There's a lot of fluff that a robot's going to be like, you want to be concise. You want to say this is what the page is about, and you're not trying to sell the robot on where you're sending it. It just has to make sense to what that page is about and what you want it to rank for, right? So be concise,
mhm.
especially with your interlinking.
Yeah, so I think my main advice for you for this one would be to kind of try to go back to basics. And before you start trying, like, first I would eliminate from your mind trying to sell anything to anybody. And so first approach your article as, so the article I'm looking at is like, what is blah, 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 So first go and just look at some other articles that people have written on the same thing. And you'll notice that, they're designed to just be very helpful and informational to the user, right? They're not just trying to sell stuff all the time. So, for informational stuff like this, you do want to eventually redirect them to, your money pages, your other types of content. But it just needs to be in a much more like natural way. And so, yeah, I would really focus, kind of go back to basics a little bit on this content, focus on user experience and providing what someone who actually finds your keyword would want to be reading. And then with a very light touch, you can do some of this other stuff. But as far as it goes right now, it's just, I feel like this is something Google, like even if it was optimized well, which I'm not sure if it is, but if it was, I feel like it could be something Google, like you might eventually get some rankings and then you'd get hit like very hard in an algo update. What do you think about that, Nick?
Yeah, agreed.
And I guess we could look at Eat real quick as well. We got a contact page, privacy policy terms, cookie. Cool, it's got some stuff going on here. Not really saying much for socials or anything. Yeah, it's got an address. That's good. So it looks like Eat, you're actually doing some stuff.
Socials.
But yeah, not seeing any socials.
Worthwhile.
Not does have an About Us page, does have a team page. So it looks like he's actually got Eat on here, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really seeing any like people behind this or anything. Might want to, here's some socials. Yeah, I might want to, guess you could do a little more as far as like actually getting some like people on here. But yeah, Eat definitely has some stuff going on. So I would say the main things I would focus on is kind of what you're doing like with your content. And yeah, I'd really focus on just, first of all, providing useful content for the user. Second of all, making sure your on page is dialed down and just, you don't have to do anything crazy with it. Just like normal, very basic layout, H1 at the top, then you just H2, 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 H2. You can break the H2s up with some H3s if that H2 has some subtopics or whatever. And just keep it nice and simple from there. Focus on providing good content for the user. And then you can go in and add some inner links to your more important stuff, but make sure it's super natural and you're not just trying to just like ram it down their throats. You have anything else to say on this one, Nick?
No, solid ending there.
You like that part, huh?
Yeah, that was funny.
All right. All right, let's see. Looks like we got some questions popping up here.
There
Derek
we go.
says, congrats on being monetized.
Oh, thank you,
sir. Okay. So, hey there. So I wanted to ask, how can we make our SEO AI optimized? My advice to you would be not to use AI at all for optimization. Unless you're talking about like using a service like Surfer, which I think that they actually use some AI, but they weren't using AI, well, anyway, it kind of depends like what you call AI. But like, for example, Surfer, it's a service and it's technical and it's automatically like telling you how to like optimize and like what kind of keywords you need to put in there and how many times to use them and stuff like that. So instead of like trying to use AI to optimize your content, I would say use something like Surfer instead. I believe they just released a new pricing plan, which is actually more expensive, but the entry point is cheaper, which is cool for beginners if you're just kind of getting used to optimizing stuff. And Yeah, it's a
And
cheaper entry point. Or you could also
the
look into something like Pop, Kyle Roof's Pop. I think it's quite a bit cheaper than Surfer, but it might not be as user friendly or whatever. I'm not even really sure. I haven't used it in quite a while, but people still use that one as well. What were you gonna say?
Surfer also, I don't know if it's out like publicly yet, but they do have a done for you AI auto optimized option for articles.
Yeah, I haven't played
That if
with
it's
that
not
yet.
available yet, it's coming out.
I haven't played it.
So
They also have a thing. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but not the completely done for you thing, but they have another AI thing now where you know how normally you have your keywords on the right side and they're all either red or yellow or green, telling you how many times you
oh,
have to
it'll
use
shove them
them.
in there.
Well, it has a thing now where it'll actually go through that and it will use AI to be like, hey, you could add this one here. It
Okay.
says these are all the keywords that you still need to add based on the same panel they have on the right, but it'll just go through kind of like Grammarly does, and it'll say
Yeah.
this is a good spot to put this one in. Do you want to do it? And you can put like
It's like
confirm,
Link
and it'll just
Whisper. Yeah,
yeah, it's like Grammarly or
that's cool.
Link Whisper pretty much, which is that's using AI. But yeah, that's part of their other, larger service. But yeah, as far as like ChatGPT goes or something like that, I wouldn't be using it to optimize quite yet. You could use it. We like using like AI for like ideas and stuff. So it's like, you could use ideas for like helping you think of like a nice like H1 or a nice some H tags. You could like here's the key. Here's my article. Here's my here's some of my keywords. Like I want a section about this. What could I call my H2 heading about it? And they can have a nice H2 heading for you. But I wouldn't, as far as like optimization goes, I would stick to using something like Server or Pop, not
Yeah.
not pure AI.
Now like I spoke with the head of content bit the other day, and he said he's working on something where you could
Very bad
have
concept.
AI edited or AI content edited by them, but that's not out quite yet either. And I think that if you're asking this question, at least at this point in time, a lot of people want to imagine that using AI content is this like kind of simple way to get things done. But I would argue that at this point in time, and especially after like our interview with Robert Nietschel and having messed around with it myself, I would say at this point in time, um, trying to really automate things like optimization of content or content itself using AI is actually incredibly complex. And it's not really dialed in quite yet. So while I think a lot of people are hoping that there's like this easy way out, content creation, at least at this point in time, still seems to be resonating better in the SERPs if it's done the old way. And I mean, like I've been messing with it for close to 3 months now. And I haven't found exact quality recipes for content that does really well in the SERPs. I think still uh, human created content optimized through Surfer that brings new ideas to the discussion, et cetera, is still the best way to go, at least at this
For
point in
sure.
time.
Yeah, like we're not knocking AI content. Yeah,
No,
we're,
it's
we're we're
cool.
using AI to create content or to help create content. But like Nick said, human
It's
writers are
work.
still the best.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
especially when you
yeah.
come to like optimization, which is much more technical than just the content itself, then you're getting into it's AI is not ready for this quite yet. This is why I was talking with someone in the group the other day, and I made this post, which is kind of a little bit of a bait post saying, "Hey, it's a hard pill to swallow. Not everything in SEO
Yeah.
can be can be automated," and it's true. There's a lot of awesome stuff you can automate now, or you can automate in a different way instead of using kind of low skill workers. You can use AI to do it instead. But really, you're just kind of switching the automation around, right? So instead of using your cheap writer, you're using AI to do
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
you already had it automated, but you had the skilled worker coming in later and doing the skilled stuff, which AI is not ready for. Maybe it will
No.
be one day. Maybe it won't even be that long. Maybe it'll be like 5 years or something. But I don't know. We'll see. As far as right now goes, this stuff is it's a lot more complex than some give it credit for. Even though we like to say SEO is simple, content and links, and when you do understand it, it does get a bit easier. But as far as what
Yeah, I was
AI is, the language models go, generative language models, it doesn't seem like something they're necessarily equipped to do super well quite yet. But maybe
yeah.
eventually someone will just prompt the crap out of them and get a nice like baseline setup. I don't
We'll
know.
see.
But I haven't seen anything yet. I've seen some people posting about it, but every time I go in to look into it and play with it myself, I'm like, nope, nope, nope.
No.
Not close.
Yeah. I was speaking with a client recently about it and kind of explaining like things that I'm working on, trying to, figure out recipes um, in aspects of using AI for content generation. And he's like, "Oh, that's really smart because like you'll be able to like pump out content and charge quite a bit of money for it, and it won't cost anything." And I'm like, "No, it costs the entire like, setup of the team, which is just like a different kind of generation of content versus having like human writers. Like then the job description is basically different. Like you've got prompt writers, editors, etc. And then on top of that, it's like the R&D to get something like that not only written but then to resonate in the SERP seems to have like its own kind of downfalls, at least at this point in time too. So it's kind of funny. It's like everybody is expecting AI content to just be like this easy kind of movement, and right now it's literally, I mean, like even when we were talking to Robert, and that's probably somebody that I think, wouldn't you say he's probably been working on this longer than
He's at
anybody
like the
that we know?
forefront of AI, just doing some cool stuff
Yeah,
with it, as far as I'm
but
concerned.
yeah, but
That's not to
even
say you
he
can't use
says,
it. Like people are still doing really well with AI, pumping out AI content, but it's kind of like these churn and burn risky projects.
yeah,
And
exactly.
a
It's
lot most
R&D. It's not
yeah,
for
exactly. It's more
monetization,
like
like to
R&D. It's
sell
like an
it. Like,
experiment
yeah,
they're
it's
doing,
R&D. Yeah,
um, or seeing if they can make some quick cash or whatever. But yeah, most of the time when they're doing this, they're just spamming it out. Tons of content, very high amount of it, very high topical authority, but most of it's not optimized at all. Like
yeah.
very like minimal optimization. And so it is what it is. If they could automate it, they would, and they would be,
Dude,
you know,
I don't think they'd be talking about it. They'd just be doing it and getting the cash cow as quickly as possible for the time that, the little window that it's going to last.
um, he says by AI optimized, I mean that if AI use our data to generate response, then maybe it can copy our affiliate links too. So what can we do to get our links in the AI result?
Yeah, that is a
Oh,
lot
this is
more
like a different
complex.
question
Like
here. Here, wait, we're gonna
you've got
answer
to
this
like
separately.
integrate APIs,
Hold on.
etc.
We're gonna answer this
Yeah.
separately. Yeah. So here's part two of the question. We're gonna answer the other one completely differently because we answered it wrong actually, but we'll put it up as a separate video. So basically, he's saying he wants to, basically on the new AI search, AI first search. When you search on Bing or Google or whatever, it's going to come up with the AI answer first. And then it'll be the 10 blue links below it, right? Like the normal search results. So he's saying like
Oh,
basically
like
how
for
can we
a
get
yeah,
our
okay.
links? How can you be one of the recommended links in the AI section? Because the AI section will say, well, here's your answer. Here are like three sources that we pulled it from, with kind of like big pictures of the websites, of the pages that they pulled the information from. Um, so yeah, this is like uncharted territory right now. No one, we don't know how to tell you how to get your URL up there, but I guess it'd be kind of similar to like a featured snippet, right? You want to rank high for the term, and you want to present the information for this that the search is looking for in a very like easy to understand, simple way. Um, but yeah, there's not much as far as like tips and tricks or shortcuts or hacks we can tell about this right now. This is like super uncharted territory. And all this stuff is like still being rolled out. So like right now, Google, as far as I know, I don't think the Google one is live at all. Is it?
Well,
Or
I
is it
know
like bard.google.com? Yeah. What's going on with Bard?
Corey
That's
Goober
different.
got featured in a blog post with one of his automated websites. So, like, yeah, Chris and I can't tell you this. I don't know if Corey has actually given recipes for this out in public, but that would be the only person I know that you could probably give a follow if you're not following already. But I'm guessing you probably got this idea from his recent post. So, I would say, that's a place that's worthwhile to start looking is follow Corey Goober, Gubur. And, he's got a course. And I think he gives a bunch of juicy tips
That's
there.
more on
So
topical authority and stuff. Um,
no, this is specifically a post dedicated to
but
him
his
being
course.
featured in. Oh yeah, well yeah. I don't know what all he's planning on putting out there, but
Okay.
I do know that this recent post he was speaking directly about this
Okay.
topic.
But yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, it's just not something I would worry about too much yet. All of this stuff is still being like
nah,
rolled out. Like we don't know what the final form is going to look like. It's all just being like tested and kind of worked on. So, I'd worry about other stuff for now. I wouldn't worry too much about this quite yet. A little bit ahead of your time, but it is going to be something that we're going to be all optimizing for pretty soon.
yeah.
But yeah, little early. Um, all right, let's see what we got next. The most cost-effective way to fake DR. I'm just curious on what you say. Man, to be completely honest, this isn't something we do at all. I, I don't, and I actually I don't really agree so much with anyone doing it because the only reason you'd want to do it is to trick somebody. You're gonna trick a client, or you're gonna trick someone buying a guest post, or you're gonna try to sell a domain or something like that, and for something it's not worth, try to take advantage of somebody. Um,
Well, or let's say for the sake of teaching, it's a good way to know what to look for if you are, let's say, hunting domains or looking at what somebody's done, right? So, like how to reverse engineer somebody messing around with DR with low end tricks. Um, One of the ways you do it is you would spam the site with websites that have like high authority but not very much value. So like Fiverr, link farms, that kind of stuff. You can get away with pushing up DR without actually adding much value in the form of SEO. So using spammier links that maybe have historically had a lot of traffic or had a lot of links pointed at them over time. Even if they're not ranking for too much, that DR will still, kind of pass over. So like, a link that comes to mind that was like very heavily sold on Fiverr would be like the frisky.com, links like that, I think the days of using those to get like high ranking value are kind of gone. But yeah, they will increase DR, so. There are things to look out for too. If you're in Ahrefs and you're looking over sites and you see that there's very high DR values, there's not much traffic, there's not much organic ranking, then something is typically going to be off, or it's going to be a pretty new site, right? So those are things to look out for.
Yeah, another thing you can look out for, I'll talk about things to look out for. You can look out for, you see a high DR but not much traffic. Or let's say you see a high DR and they actually have some traffic. Go look at their organic keywords. Go see if they're getting all of their organic traffic from like one or two keywords,
Yeah.
which is a lot of stuff that happens a lot of the times with these kind of scam sites. And yeah, they trick a lot of people into buying guest posts on them because people don't know how to click a couple more buttons and investigate what they're looking at. But yeah, you can fake, you can, even traffic can be quote manipulated in a way. and things can look a lot better than they are. But yeah, there's other ways to do this. I'm just not gonna, be on the lookout for like Google redirects, stuff like that. I don't even know. It's probably just a bunch of like spam stuff. People have kind of like these like spam packages you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe even some like just a bunch of like directories and whatnot will even help.
Yeah. If you I mean, like, even if you type in like into Fiverr, like DA or DR increase, stuff like that, like there's going to be all sorts of packages. But again, they're not going to be worthwhile for much other than manipulating, DR, DA, those kinds of metrics. So if you're doing this because you want to sell domains, just flat out do it. I agree with Chris. Don't be an asshole. Okay.
Well, that's what he's doing. Look at his question. Most cost-effective way to fake DR. So he's looking for the cheapest way to go scam somebody.
The cost-effective part, but yeah, that's pretty. It seems.
Reevaluate your life, man. Come on now.
It's a lot better to. You're gonna have more longevity if you don't burn people, and if you spend the time just learning how to procure domains, if that's what you're doing, or like, procure clients and actually like work on something that gives value back. Because I've seen it a million times. Like, we've been in this industry a long time. I can't tell you how many names I've seen come and go on the fly over my, 10 years experience in SEO. A lot of people that I started with, like I'd say like 90% or more they're gone. They're gone, long gone. And not even because they were doing stuff like this. Like, this has a very short fuse. People on the internet talk and they share information. It's not going to last. It's not worthwhile.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to make money on the internet, man. I would just advise going a different direction. You can still do black hat stuff, but you can do it without taking advantage of people too. Yeah, I mean, we're in a new age of kind of black hat SEO right now with AI. And black hat SEO is going more on content now rather than even backlinks. So I mean, there's tons of cool stuff you can do, tons of little shortcuts you can make that are super cost effective, super cheap. You can pump out. So I'm just been watching a bunch of videos, other people doing stuff on YouTube. Just pumping out these multi-thousand page websites in foreign language SERPs and stuff. And where there's low competition and their topical authority just skyrockets through the roof, and they're just like on page 1, day 1. And I mean, there's just cool stuff you can do, and you can do it in a way where you're still just providing information to people without trying to, take advantage of them or whatever.
Scam them.
So that would be my advice, even though you didn't ask for it. I hope you take it. He says, I still don't use AI content. Yeah, I can see advantages to not using it, but I think it would be a good idea to start incorporating it at least into your process so you can kind of get an idea of how it's working and stuff. So I think like the best use case for AI, if you're talking about like, well, here, I'm gonna make this into a question. So it says, I still don't use AI content. So yeah, just to repeat what I was just saying, basically, my preferred use for content for AI is not to use it it's not 100% done by AI. I haven't found something yet that does outlines very well. Everything that I try to get AI to do the outlines, it ends up being bad. So I like to do the outlines myself. And then with a lot of prompting, you're basically setting like this style of writing, this is the type of person you are, this is how I want you to communicate, this is the type of article we're writing. Basically give the AI a bunch of like parameters and be like, okay, well now I need a section on this. And you take the section and then you can start from there and pop it in and kind of edit it. And I would say I think my favorite way to do it is you end up writing about like, maybe AI wrote about like 50% of the content. And you kind of added a lot more to it or deleted stuff out or whatever. But it ends up still being a nice little time saver because it is writing a good amount of the content, but it also it also provides the direction for you. So you're not going and looking around like, oh, I should write about this, this, and this. So it's really good for like hitting these ideas that you want to cover. And you're like, oh, that's great. I can kind of expand on that a little bit or whatever. Or you can even ask them to expand on it, ask the AI to expand on it. But yeah, my favorite way to do it is like using like maybe like 50% human written, 50% AI written. Nice little like combo. Of course, a lot of people are doing a little more spammy stuff with it and using 100% AI, and they're ranking, and you can actually make some money off that. But I'm not saying that's a bad that you shouldn't do that. It's just as of right now, I'm more focused on building online brands, which is more than just content on Google as well. It's not just that game. You're playing you're doing socials, you're doing YouTube, you're doing a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I like Nick was saying earlier, 100% human written content is probably still the best. And especially as far as like optimization goes, it's definitely still better to be done by humans. But you can use like Surfer, and they have the AI feature in there as well to help speed things up. But you're still like approving everything and whatever. It's just kind of helping you go a little bit faster. But yeah, I would also recommend that you start playing with it. Even for content, start playing with it. Or else you're going to kind of eventually get into the situation where you're behind, because this stuff is only going to get better, and you don't want to be behind. You want to be ahead of the curve, or at least like, you want to be riding the wave, and you don't want to be left behind. What do you got on this one, Nick?
No, yeah, completely agree. And even like, the test stuff that I've been doing, so like unless it's a test site, then if it's a site that you're continually working on, I would advise not going anywhere near 100% AI content. Again, you're looking for recipes. At least right now, everything's really experimental. And I've come to find that just the AI content, the more that AI is in use, and I'm talking about like different varying degrees of how much the content is written by AI, is just not resonating that well in comparison to the stuff that's just human written, surfer optimized, brings something new to the table. So, like Chris said, it's good to be playing around with these concepts because when you do find a recipe for success, you will be at the forefront of things, or at least like that's what you want to hope for. And so, continually experimenting, and a lot of you probably don't have time or money or, et cetera, to be playing around with test sites. So you are experimenting with sites that you're trying to monetize, you're trying to get a leg up on, you're trying to make money off of. If you are playing around with AI content, then do it nice and slow and steady, and then prod and test with, smaller amounts of content versus just going like 100% in one direction.
Yeah. And I'll just want to add that, the reason that you want to be playing with it, and I said, you don't want to be left behind, but more than that, really, we're going to get to the point where, so topical authority is a thing. Having written all these different articles on your website about one subject, Google really likes that. They say, oh, these guys are an expert because they've written all this stuff. So we're going to get to this point where it's basically a race. And like, if you don't have this amount of topical authority, and the top 10 sites have and are using, AI, and they can just spit out all of this content at such a high speed that it would take you years to do. Now we're talking about a large disadvantage. And it's going to be very hard to compete with those sites if you're not using similar tactics. So, that's the, more than just like cost savings or time saving. Well, I guess it is time saving is the most important thing, because it's a new race that SEO is going to be, which is the topical authority race. And if you can't get to that level of topical authority, then yeah, hard to compete. At least for now, that's how things are going. We'll see what the future holds. We're not saying go and just spam your sites with with AI content to establish topical authority. Get yourself into some trouble, get hit pretty hard by doing that. Like Nick was saying, edit things, add your own stuff to it. I'm saying, 50-50 human to AI written content, so you're still doing a good amount of writing yourself. But yeah, good to play with. Anything more on that one, Nick?
No, so
And then we got another message from Thane, who was the guy asking about the spoofing DR. He says, "LOL, I was just morbidly curious on what you would say. I have too many projects to bother scamming people." Glad to hear it, man. It is interesting, spoofing DR and stuff. It seems like people are always finding like little new ways to do it. But then you go in and you look at the backlinks and you're like, what is all this? And like, oh, I see what they're doing now. This is why their DR is high. But yeah, we're definitely not experts on that. But it is something we are pretty opinionated on as well, just because, I mean, this is the industry we're in. We're link builders, and so this is something we see pretty often, right? And something we have to be aware of. But yeah, glad to hear you're not really going that route. There's, like you said, there's plenty of other projects. There's tons of way to make money on the internet. You don't have to do something like that.
At the same time, though, it's like, I'm not going to pretend that I can't identify with having those kinds of questions, especially, starting out. Scamming people was never like anything that I would have interest in, but we've answered this question before. How do you kind of reach a certain level of moral values as an SEO? And it's all dependent on, you and yourself and where your own morals kind of lie. Because I remember even like early on, like, let's be real, as SEOs, if we're being honest with ourselves, as black hat SEOs, especially if we're using backlinks, we're manipulating data sets to take advantage of an algorithm, then we're looking for shortcuts. And that gets your mindset kind of playing a certain game where you're looking for all sorts of shortcuts that exist on the internet and how they, affect ranking websites or doing any number of things. And I remember early on, where I was just like, and this was like in my infancy, doing reviews trades with people on Facebook, where we would do like Yelp review trades or Google review trades, etc. And one guy got irate about it, and we had a little argument about how he said it was completely wrong that you would fake these reviews for companies that you've never done business with, etc.
I
And
guess it is a
to a
similar thing,
degree, I
but for some
mean,
reason it doesn't bother me as much.
well, right. Like, so it's like, everybody's got their own kind of moral
Yeah.
dilemma with different things, right? And especially if we look at the internet and we look at just, I mean, even Chris, you put up a post recently, I think, about all the AI gurus that are now selling,
It's
courses or
insane.
apps or whatever.
All their posts are
Um,
the same. Here's 100 new
yeah,
AI things. You
yeah,
gotta, or
yeah.
like, oh,
Make
Bard is
10
out now
grand
and
a
ChatGPT is
week.
irrelevant. You gotta join my
Yeah.
newsletter. You're gonna be an idiot.
Welcome to the internet. It's like it is a medley of the human condition. So
There's so much
at the
FOMO
same
right now,
time,
though.
yeah.
Anyway.
But I think that's the thing too. It's like, okay, you can be one of these people that doesn't understand how any of this shit works, and a lot of people fall susceptible because of that, or you can kind of ask these questions and you can prod, and like, you don't have to be the type of person that's a bad person to explore bad things, right? So yeah, we're not trying to pass judgment just because you asked the question. I don't think, but yeah, there's moral boundaries for everything, and Chris and I are very forward in talking about the things that we're not willing to do business with, or things that go past our level of comfort with, with exploring SEO,
Yeah, that
etc.
was a good point about like the reviews and stuff, because it's really the same thing. Like you're doing something that's fake, so
You're
you're spoofing your
manipulating.
reviews
Yeah,
to get people to buy your product. There's the
yeah.
same thing like the domain. You're making the product look better than it is, right?
Hmm.
I don't know why the domain, I don't know why the DR one bothers me so much
No,
more
yeah,
than the reviews does.
it feels different for me too, but it's funny. It's like here we get into like a philosophical
Or you could even
debate
say the same thing
on
about backlinks,
exactly,
right?
Oh yeah, completely. There's
Yeah.
people that would argue with us that what we're doing is completely horrendous, But then on the same token, it's like the argument would be, oh, well then, so you're supposed to like just submit to the Google gods and let their algorithm pick and choose what is the actual greatest, thing for the SERP. I mean, all of this is debatable and arguable, right? Yeah, it's interesting. We're getting more philosophical than talking straight SEO, but I feel like the more you explore SEO, the more these kinds of topics will end up, kind of pushing. Yeah, I've seen all sorts of things in just hunting domains where it's just like Jesus.
Well, so
It's hard to imagine that some of these people exist.
I guess the one of the differences is this. Okay, here's the difference. I think this is important too, actually. Um, when you spoof the DR of a website, you're using it to make the product actually look better than it is, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
you can charge a higher amount of money for it. And it's pretty much like a straight scam, right? But if you if you just get fake reviews, it doesn't actually affect the product. The product that that company is selling might actually be genuinely very good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
It could
the
be.
reviews are fake, but the product itself could actually still be very good. And it's the same thing with backlinks. Like, so for example, we're using backlinks to boost a website up, but the information on the website could be very good. It could the whatever they're selling could be very good. So it's not like a direct it's not like a direct like scam on like the product itself, right? We're just like using these tactics to like get more eyeballs on the product. And then once the eyeballs are there, they decide if they want to purchase or not or whatever, you know. And it doesn't affect the quality of the service or product itself.
Well,
But
so what about
I think it's a big
what
difference.
about like reputation management then? If we're talking about boosting reviews so that the negative reviews disappear, or so that something that exists in the SERP for a doctor's name who did something bad
I
disappears, you
mean,
know?
reputation management, yeah. I mean,
Because
but
essentially that's what the review thing would be about, right? Is like
it's not
building
actually
the image of a reputation.
yeah, but it's not well, maybe the reputation got unfairly tarnished. It's not reputation management isn't a
No, I know, but
direct
it's
it's not a
a lot of
direct
could be's, right?
but it's not a
Um,
direct like manipulation of the actual product to make the product like a direct manipulation of the product would be like, well, hey, we're using like plastic to build this car, but it's supposed to be built out of metal and it feels like metal. I just like a much more like sinister kind of thing, I think. In my opinion,
yeah, I
in my
mean,
opinion.
varying degrees of what are arguably, kind of the same, but definitely varying degrees of manipulation. Because like ultimately, that's what we're talking about is manipulation, right? Like manipulation of data sets to opinion to everything else. But yeah, I get what you're saying. This is like manipulation of DR to sell a website to somebody or a domain to somebody, seems more direct, versus being able to conceptualize that maybe I'm helping a product that's pretty good. And even though I don't know the owner of the website too well, I think, they're probably a decent person and decent business owner, But like then there's just these varying degrees of placing yourself between the direct line of manipulation and the one that's a bit more disconnected, I
Then he
guess.
says selling backlinks is increasing DR. And yeah, it's true. Selling backlinks does increase DR, but you can sell the DR is a measure, is an estimate of the way Google sees authority,
Right.
right? So the goal of backlinks is to actually raise your real authority, not to raise
Yeah. In the
the
SERPs.
fake number that Ahrefs
Yeah.
sees, right? We want to raise the real number. Um,
Yeah.
so a little bit different there, but yeah,
Yeah.
also like we mentioned before, you know, backlinks, it's not like a direct manipulation of like the product itself. So you're building
Yeah.
backlinks to a website
Asset.
about that makes organic dog toys or something, right? So yeah, you increase their authority, they get seen by more people on Google, but then the products they sell could actually be, super good. Um, versus if
Yeah, but
versus
all
if you're like manipulating the DR to be a fake DR just so you can sell
yeah,
backlinks on it. So
with no
you're basically
rankings.
selling a product. The product is the backlinks from that website with a fake number. So the product itself actually looks a lot better than it is, and you're reaping a benefit from that. I think it's an important difference,
But
but whatever.
yeah, but also, I mean, like backlinks are not all created equal, right? Like just because they raise DR does not mean that they are going to raise you in the SERPs, right? Like the reason
Yeah.
that our products are quality is because of years of R&D and being able to use them for our own projects, etc. And then it turned into a backlinks company, not the concept of, oh, well, they raise DR, and even though they've tanked every fucking website I've ever worked on, I'm just gonna go ahead and sell them, which that exists out there. That is something that does exist. But yeah, they're not all created equal either. Even if they do raise DR, there's one for the purpose of just manipulating that particular data set, DR, and then there's another one that's used for the purpose of actually being able to get in there and manipulate search rankings.
All right. Let's go ahead and end the stream there. We went over time and we're just kind of blabbing about stuff that, um,
I like these kinds of questions. I think
yeah,
they're kind of fun
it's
because usually
fun.
we're
But
like able to like it's more direct. But
all right, guys,
yeah.
thanks for showing up. Hopefully, we answered your questions. We got through some audits today, which was cool. Kind of a slower stream, but it happens. Hopefully, more people around next time that got some more questions for us. Like always, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Join us on Facebook SEO Roundtable. We got sale on PBN links this month. 10% off using code P10. What else we got? Got a podcast with Robert Nichol
Interview,
coming
yeah.
out next week, which is maybe our favorite podcast we've done so far. We talk about AI for over an hour with a guy who's way smarter
Two
than us.
hours almost.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Wild.
I think that's all I can really think of now. So yeah, we'll see you next week, same time, same place, I think, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Adios.
No, I think next week
Well,
don't we have
we'll